Hey guys, Justin Rhodes with Bushido Mixed Martial Arts back here with another Coach's Corner. I got asked a question: what martial art do I prefer? And like I said, obviously you're going to think I'm biased, but there's a reason behind it. I prefer jiu-jitsu because jiu-jitsu is the one martial art that, me being a smaller guy, that I can negate the damage a bigger person does to me and beat bigger guys all the time. Been doing it for years, all the time, every day, 7 days a week. It's just what you're able to do with jiu-jitsu. It's not quite magic, but it's the closest thing you can get to it. I do Muay Thai. I used to fight MMA. I would never, given a choice, want to box Mike Tyson. There's a reason there's weight divisions, and it doesn't matter if I was, let's say I was fighting a guy Mike Tyson's size, but not his skill level. And I could piece him up. I could stick, move, head movement, keep piecing him up, and hopefully knock him out. But he's only got to connect once. If his power is 5 times what mine, I'd say Mike Tyson, a guy Mike Tyson's size, probably hits 10 times harder than I do. So if he lands one hit, it's like one of my hits times 10. You understand what I'm saying? So I've got to hit that bigger guy 10 times. I've got to stick and move, catch him. And with jiu-jitsu, I can take someone to the ground. This is what cracks me up about jiu-jitsu doesn't work. Man, I've got more street fights than most of these clowns talking this stuff. I've got more dojo fights. And I know dojo fights are not the same as street fights, but you can always tell when somebody knows what they're doing and not just claiming fight credentials. So I got 200 street fights. I'm undefeated in barroom brawling. When you've got real street fight experience, you know jiu-jitsu works in the street. I can take a guy down, get on top of him, negate all damage that I take. I can win the fight from my back, from the bottom. I've learned some hard lessons in life about fighting and what works in jiu-jitsu in a fight and what doesn't work on the dojo. That's why I choose my school to teach self-defense. But jiu-jitsu is the one art that truly a smaller person can beat a bigger person. I've seen smaller wrestlers wrestle the hell out of bigger guys, but there's no submissions. There's no way to finish the guy. And if you're not able to pound them out, I see you wrestle, but you never really train striking. Some people can put it together and just stay on top and punch a guy till he quits. But not everybody. I've seen guys out wrestle guys, then get beat up because they just don't know how to finish the fight. Boxing, same thing. Boxing is very effective against a bigger person that's untrained. But you put a trained person in there, and bigger guy hits harder. Jiu-jitsu, I don't care if he's bigger. I don't care if he hits harder. A smaller guy can beat him. A smaller guy can get him on the ground. Just had an interesting conversation. I'd like everybody, I'm going to bring some credit to this guy. One of the greatest names in all of jiu-jitsu is a guy named Pedro Sauer. And I had a talk with one of his students in his lineage yesterday in Australia. And it reminded me, because I commonly get told, this is the next evolution of jiu-jitsu. This is the future of jiu-jitsu, what I'm doing. And I'm like, this isn't the future, it's the past. I think most of these people have never seen the Gracie Dojo challenges where they just use jiu-jitsu to beat black belts in karate, championship boxers. I don't think half of these guys that watch the UFC these days have ever seen UFC 1 through 8. Like where it was pure art against art, where Royce Gracie wore a gi in the ring and fought jiu-jitsu without throwing anything but a flipper kick and slaps to the back of the neck. Never threw punches. Never did anything but beat people with jiu-jitsu while they were trying to beat his head in. But if you look up Pedro Sauer, Pedro Sauer, he is of the Gracie lineage. And it was really cool talking to one of his students because I've always admired one of his matches. And you have to look up that he fights a bodybuilder. And this big, jacked bodybuilder comes in. And this was common occurrence back then where the Gracies would take any challenge, anybody that walked in the door that wanted to fight them. So, no, I'm not doing the future. I'm doing the past. I'm just keeping it alive. A lot of people forgot that's what jiu-jitsu was intended for. They misconstrue this stuff you see in tournaments, this 50-50 guard and this butt scooting and guard jumping. They think that's what jiu-jitsu is. They don't know where the roots of jiu-jitsu came from and that it was based in a fighting art that beat all other martial arts. If you have never YouTubed or Googled UFC 1, 2, 3, 4, open your eyes and wake up your mind. YouTube it and watch what Royce Gracie did to all the best martial artists and fighters in the world. So look up Pedro Sauer, and I don't remember the guy's name, but just Pedro Sauer versus bodybuilder, and it's a beautiful demonstration of jiu-jitsu against a big old huge bodybuilder that was easily almost probably twice his weight, and he took him down, negated all damage. And look up the Gracie Challenge videos. There are tons of examples. My favorite one is boxing. Boxing is the ultimate martial art. Man, do some research. Do the research. Watch the videos. Watch the Gracie Challenges. And then just understand the facts are there. Not one boxer on this planet will get in that octagon with an MMA fighter. Not one boxer on this planet will take an open rule challenge, not in a boxing ring with boxing gloves and boxing rule set. Just an open challenge against a jiu-jitsu guy. They won't do it because they know it's not going to end well with them. If they stay on their little fantasy pedestal, then they can always say boxing would win, you know. But do your research. So anyway, throwing out a shout out to Mike from Australia with Pedro Sauer lineage, one of the true legends and the great ones in the sport that came from the old school way and what has been forgotten and lost in jiu-jitsu. There are very few of us out there keeping that alive and trying to implement jiu-jitsu against striking. And let me say one last thing. If we're in a fight and I get you down, you know, I don't care if you're on top, and you're punching me. You're under the misconception that I can't control your punches. You're under the misconception that I can't submit you from my back. You're under the misconception that I can't sweep you and get on top. Then when I get on top, do you think I can't punch? You think I can't elbow? You think I can't do, just because I choose to try to use my skills at any time. You know, we've all heard, I would just bite you. The guy that has control and the positional advantage can always bite worse than the guy that doesn't. You can't bite a guy that knows how to control you. And if you do, you're going to pay for it, because what's the bite going to do? You're going to bite him, and then he's going to punish you. He's going to absolutely destroy you. I had a guy bite me one time in class, bit my ribs, and brought blood. And let me tell you something. It didn't turn out well. I got bit. That's all that happened to me. So don't get it twisted. Jiu-jitsu is good for fighting. Sport jiu-jitsu, I'll leave that up to them guys to prove that. They do what they do. They're athletes. It's a sport. But appreciate you guys. Chime in with comments. Take care.